Greetings, this is Sister Rebecca, aka Holly Hood, and today's video presentation is entitled, Why Do Some White Celebrities Adopt Black Kids? And the subtitle is The Power and the Dominance of Black Blood. Now, let me just preface this with giving you a little bit of a history. The Caucasian people, most of them, derive from a wasteland known as the Caucasus Mountains. And during the time when they became first known as being a part of mankind, this was a barren, as I stated, wasteland of a place. They were cavemen and women, so there was not a lot of high degree of intelligence, and they were basically barely surviving. And this is why you have a lot of people today who study the ancient cultures of Egypt and other African civilizations, because while they were hunting and surviving in the Caucasus Mountains, the Africans were building pyramids and creating complicated mathematical designs and architecture and all sorts of knowledge that was even superior to today's knowledge was being exhibited. And so that's just to preface this. However, from such a beginning where the white race was uncivilized and ignorant, for lack of a better word, and the African race was very highly intellectual, there was a turnaround in that scenario, whereas through years of self-hate conditioning, blacks were taught that whites were superior, both intellectually and physically. In fact, blacks have been so effectively brainwashed via Willie Lynch programming to believe that straight hair and recessive paleness of white skin is desirable. And that has, if you look at today's present day increase of the sales of bleaching creams, hair straightening products, and fake hair, these things have skyrocketed in the desire of many blacks to look as white as possible. Ironically, whites themselves came up with the term bitch for a female dog in reference to them having straight hair like a dog. And the white men were commonly referred to as being the sons of bitches. I do believe that there are some white people who adopt outside of their race and who are visionaries, who would like to believe that they are creating a harmonious interracial world that will somehow bring the races together outside of the safety of their homes. Hence, the charity begins at home scenario. Also, there are others who just simply consider it cool and trendy. Ooh, I want one of those. And so they go and they do it because they've seen other people do it. Every now and then, it becomes cool to be black in America. And in recent years, black people have been considered to be the coolest. And this is why you have many other races who have adopted what they consider black mannerisms or styles associated with black culture. And this is where the term wigger was derived from. Now, did you know that there is power and dominance in black blood? If you didn't, I'd like to share something with you. In scientific terms, the word white denotes the absence of all color, whereas the word black denotes the combination of all colors. The Spanish word for white is blanco, from which the English word blank is derived. The Latin word for white is albus, and it is the root of the English word albino, a person lacking normal coloration, and albumen, which is the white of an egg. Because black is the combination of all colors, it is therefore dominant, while white is recessive, and it is scientific and biological fact that while the recessive can be extracted from the dominant cannot be extracted from the recessive, which leads us to the following observations regarding the power and dominance of black blood. When a white man fathers a child by a white woman, the child is of course white. But when a white man fathers a child by a yellow woman, that is a Chinese, Japanese, or Korean, etc., the child is yellow. By a red woman, that is of North or South American cultures, Indians, Eskimos, the child is red. And by a brown woman, Arab, Asian, Hispanic, or Latino, the child is brown. Lastly, when the white man fathers a child by a black woman, the child is always black. And this is where that 10% of black blood came about during slavery. In other words, whomever a white male mates with, the female gene is dominant. Thus, the progeny is always the race of the female. Now, there is a distinct difference, however, and that difference is found when a black man fathers a child by a black woman. The child is, of course, black. But on the other hand, when he fathers a child by a brown woman, the child is also black, and so on with the red woman, with the yellow woman, the child is always black. And when he fathers a child with a white woman, the child is also always black. In other words, whoever the black male mates with, the male gene is dominant. Thus, the progeny is always black. Further proof of the power and dominance of black blood is evidenced by the fact that although a white man can father a black child under normal circumstances, a black man cannot father a white child, which inversely means that although a white woman can give birth to a black child under normal circumstances, a black woman cannot give birth to a white child. Now, there were two rare occasions. Last century, a black woman gave birth to a white child. Once in England, there was a black woman, whose own mother and husband were white, and she gave birth to twin boys, one who was black and one who was white. And in Maryland, a black woman gave birth to a white child, but her husband was the product of a mixed marriage. So still, further proof of the power and the dominance of black blood is evidenced by the fact that just one drop of black blood makes a person black, irrespective of their race or nationality. This genetic information causes one to rethink and reevaluate the validity of the chosen people concept, doesn't it? There's an old maxim from the Middle East that reads, "How odd of God to choose the Jews." So what, in summation, is what is behind these high-profile white actresses adopting black babies? Well, if I could personally ask Charlize Theron, Sandra Bullock, Madonna, Mariska Hargitay, Christian Davis, and the others, I would ask them, but I can't. So I would let it suffice to say that maybe it's the same reason some white men adopt Asian girls, countdown to the 18th birthday. But I guess, in reality, only time will tell. This is Sister Rebecca. Thank you so much for watching, and I definitely look forward to your comments.